Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am so happy to have you with me today. So welcome to the part 2 of how to write a book that can become a bestseller. Okay, I hope you learned quite a lot from the part 1 of this topic. Yes, and I hope you dropped your questions and comments if you have any. Okay, in the last video we talked about a few things and I think we ended up with research. Okay, why research is good for your book. So this video will pick up from there, and then we'll talk about another way by which you can use research to have a good book. Okay, now that way is with research you can be able to get a topic or a theme that you can write about. Now let's say you already have a niche or you already know your niche. To decide on a theme, yeah, let me use the word theme. To decide on a theme that you might want to write about, okay, you will need to do a little research. Now let's say you want to publish a book with Amazon, okay. So now you go to Amazon.com and then move to the Kindle store and search for books under your niche, okay. Now you just input some words in the search box, and then to give you some results of books under that theme or under that topic. Now let's say I want to write about health, okay, health related stuff, and then I go to the search button and then I type in words like healthy living. Okay, when I do that I will have some results come out, and then if I type another word or I type in something like children's health or women's health or whatever, I will have results coming out. Now the more words I type, okay, the lesser results I'm going to get, and that is because the more words I type is making what I'm looking for more specific. So for that reason I'm going to get a fewer results. Okay, so with that you can be able to get a theme that you might want to write on or write about. Now how can you choose a theme to write on or a topic to write about? And number one, when you type in your search word or when you search your word and then books comes out, okay, now in the books that come out under that theme, okay, and you want to check if there is at least one book that is a bestseller, okay, at least one book that is a bestseller under that theme or around that topic, okay. Now if there is one book that is doing well, that is a bestseller, then you're good to go. Now number two thing you should look out for is, are there other books that are doing well? By well I mean they have over 1,000 sales, okay. So are there other books that are like that, and how many are there? And number three, you also want to look out for how many books are poorly sold, okay. By that I mean less than 1,000 sales. Now I'm going to say 800 sales is poor because you're comparing it to a bestseller, okay. So 800 sales is poor compared to a best-selling book. But as a beginner, okay, if you have a book that has sold 100 copies, okay, you're doing well for yourself, okay. But as you go further and as you become better at your craft, okay, then you want to go beyond the 100 sales level. So compared to a best-selling book, a book with 900 sales, 800 sales are not, doing so well, okay. Now one very important thing that you want to look out for also when trying to get a theme or topic to write on is how many books have been written around this theme, okay. How many books have been written around this theme? Now if you have at 50 books written around this theme or around this topic, then it is a good topic to write on. It shows that the demand for that for books around that topic or around that theme is high. So you want to write about that theme. Now if you have books, if there are over 150 to 200 books, okay, written and published around that theme, you might want to consider, because that shows you that the competition is high. Okay, there are a lot of competitions, so you might want to consider. But if you still want to go ahead with writing a book around that theme, it's still very fine. But you have to put in so much work so that your book can be good enough to be at least in the top 100 ranks. Okay, so yes, you have to put in so much work. Now we're going to talk about how to write a book, or writing a book proper. Now, how to write, the way you write a non-fiction book is different from how you write a fiction book. Now, for a non-fiction book, their non-fiction books are written in outlines, like they have outlines for writing a non-fiction book. Now, a non-fiction book has the introduction part, the, let's call it the main chapter or the main body, okay, and then it has the conclusion or the concluding part. Now, these three sections make up a non-fiction book. Now, what do you do with your introduction? Now, with your introduction, you need to write it in a way that it entices or it appeals to your reader. Okay, write it in a way that it keeps your reader glued to the book. Okay, like a reader who wants to start reading your book and then finish reading your book. So you have to write your introductory part as good as you can. Now, use your introductory part or your introduction to create a connection with your reader. Now, how do you do that? Talk about yourself, okay, in connection to the topic you're writing about. Talk about yourself in connection to the topic that you're writing about. Okay, now for example, I want to write a book about women and pregnancy. Okay, and then I say something like, for example, during my first pregnancy, this happened, that happened, I had this challenge, that challenge, and the rest of them. And then I say something like, oh, I'll share my tips with you on how I was able to scale through all of those challenges. Now, if I say something like that, it makes my reader know that, okay, I have been in this position before, I have worn this shoe before. So with that, they might want to believe me and trust what I'm going to say in the book. So by doing that, I've created a connection between my reader and me. Okay, so yes, do that with your introduction part. Now, the main body or the main chapters is where you explain further, okay, give life to your book. They explain, in depth. You give in depth explanation about the topic that you're dealing with. Okay, you talk more, and then you need to have chapters, titles, subtitles, and stuff like that. Then with the conclusion, yes, you do what you conclude, and then try to encourage your readers and the rest of them. Now, let's see. I want to write a book. Now, you have your niche, you have the theme or topic, and then you know that you need an outline. And now you know what to do with your outline. Okay? So now I want to write a book about pregnancy, for example. I'm going to make a list of topics and subtopics that I want to be in my book. So I go and then I write something like signs of pregnancy, exercise during pregnancy, feeding and nutrition during pregnancy, sleep and rest during pregnancy, and then I make all of those lists for my book, for example. Now I have to, give flesh or give life to my topics and subtopics. So I explain, as the idea comes to me, I explain, I write, and I just keep going and writing and writing and writing. Now, after writing, okay, I'll have to sit down and then look at what I've written. And then I'll say, okay, I will put this topic and this topic in my introduction, and then put all of these ones in my main body, and then put this one and this one in my conclusion. So I'll divide what I've written into the three sections of my book. Okay. Now, there is a possibility that everything I've written might not be in the book. Okay. And I want to keep out some topics from this book. Now, because those topics leftover topics. Okay. Now, what can you do with your leftover topics? You can choose to keep them and add them to a second book that you're going to write, okay? Or you can use those topics as a bonus for this book that you're currently writing, okay? So you be like, buy this book and get this bonus, okay? Yeah, so those are two things that you can do with your leftover topics. All right, so having said that, we will now go on to fiction, okay? Fiction writing and the rest of them. Now for fiction writing, everything about the book is entirely up to the writer. The plot, the characters, conflicts, twists and turns, everything is up to the writer. So for you to be a good fiction writer, you need to have a very creative and imaginative mind, okay? Think far, think wide, out of the box. And before you write a book, a fiction book, you need to first off know the niche or the type of book that you want to write. Now, for example, I am a fiction writer and then I want to write a book. Now, I need to have an idea first of the kind of book I want to write. Now, let's say I want to write a romance novel, okay, a book about romance and about love and the rest of them. Now, that is one. Now, for me to start, I have to have an idea of how the story is going to start, okay, at least how the story is going to start. What would this story be about? And the about of the story is the romance, okay? It's a romance book, so it's about romance and love and the rest of those things. Now, how is it going to start? I need to have that idea. Now, it is fine, it's okay if you have the idea of how the book is going to start, how the book will proceed, and how the book will end. That is fine. But if you have the idea of how the book will start alone or only, that is also very fine. Okay, so as you write the story, things are being, things come up along the line, and then you just keep writing and writing, more ideas, come to you. Now, even if you have the idea of how the book will start, proceed, and end, as you write, it might change along the line, okay? You might choose to put in some twists and some turns here and then the whole idea that you had in the beginning will just completely change, okay? It is still very fine. It's your book. Everything is up to you. But twists and turns are very important when writing fictions, okay? It keeps your reader on their feet to know what's going to happen next, okay? Now that is right about it for writing fiction books. Now let's look at something else. Let's say you're not a writer yet, okay, but you want to start writing. Now, how can you begin writing or start writing and actually enjoy or love writing? Now, number one, you need to make or create a habit from writing, okay? Make writing a habit. And how can you do that? By writing every day. Now, you need to write every day for at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. Consistently, every day you write 30 minutes, every day you write 1 hour. By doing that, you'll be able to make writing a habit for yourself. And number two thing is that you have to keep track of your records. Okay, keep track every day when you write, you record the time, you record your number of chapters or the words, your word count, okay? How much words did you write or how many chapters did you write? You record them, okay? So keep track of your record, and every day try to do better than you did the previous day. Now, number three is that you might want to consider transcription or transcribing. By that I mean recording your book, audio, like having an audio record of your book, okay? Then you can tell the audio to a transcriber to transcribe for you. Or better, so you can use your voice typing keyboard or voice typing software in your phone or your system, whatever, to type. So when you speak into the system, you just write the word for you, okay? Or you can also use a ghostwriter to write, okay? That is also a good option or a good alternative also. Another thing is when you write, okay, write first and edit later. When you write, do not be so concerned about your grammar and how it's been arranged. Just write first, fiction and non-fiction alike. Just write first. Flow with the idea, flow with the words as they come to you. Just write first. Then after writing, you take your time to edit and to proofread, or you give someone to do it for you professionally. But write first and bother less about your grammar. Okay? Yeah. Now we'll stop here for today's video. There are still more videos coming up. Okay. Now the next video, which is the part 3 of how to write a book that can become a bestseller. Okay, the link to that video is going to be in the description. So go to the description and click on the link, and you take you to where you find the part 3 of how to write a book that can become a bestseller. Now, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so you don't miss more videos that will be coming up. And please also give this video a thumbs up. Now, if you have a question, all right, do well to keep it in the comment section. Leave your comments there, and if there are topics that you might want me to talk about, maybe topics or other things that you think I should talk about, leave it also in the comments. Okay, I will go through all of them. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the link in the description box so you can get the next video. Leave a comment and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, bye for now.